We're going to get the next talk from Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. And this will be given by Dr. Clever Sibomana. Briefly about the presenter, Dr. Clever. He is the co-lead, country-specific lead for Burundi in the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. And Clever, he holds a PhD in population ecology from Zhejiang University in Guangzhou, China. And he teaches biology courses at the University of Burundi. Clever is also the program chair, Master of Biology of Organism and Ecology at the Biology Department at the University of Burundi. And in the position that he's been holding as a county-specific lead, I think he is about 2 or 3 months old, and he's been serving well in that capacity and representing the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group in this annual meeting today. So I welcome Clever's presentation, and please note that at the end of this talk, there's a 5 minutes Q&A session. Clever is also present, so we'll be able to get more direct clarification from him and also from other members of the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. So I welcome Steph to present the talk by Clever. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to give this presentation about Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. I am Clever Sibomana from the University of Burundi. Lake Tanganyika is located in the Albertan Rift, the western branch of the East African Rift. It's the longest freshwater lake in the world and the deepest Great Rift Valley lakes in Africa. It extends for about 676 kilometers in a general north-south direction and averages 50 kilometers in width. The lake covers 32,900 square kilometers with a shoreline of 1,828 kilometers, a mean depth of 570 meters, and a maximum depth of 1,471 meters found in the southern basin in DR Congo. Lake Tanganyika is important as it supports over averagely 1 million people at the shoreline and over 10 million in the catchment area, depending on it for various uses, example, agriculture, water, fisheries, etc. It is home to over 2,000 species, out of which 600 are endemic, and it is a unique lake as it harbors endemic species clustering of bagrids, cyprinids, mastacembelids, and mocochids, and it contains at least 250 morphologically and colorful cichlid fish species and 150 species of non-cichlid fish, most of which living along the coast of approximated depth of 100. Despite its importance, the lake faces challenges, among which are overfishing, which is combined with the use of destructive fish gears, industrial pollution related to activities in breweries, abattoirs, battery manufacturers, etc. Then sustainable agriculture practices, erosion and sedimentation, biodiversity decline, deforestation, invasive species, and effects of the global climate change. Lake Tanganyika Scientific Advisory Group has been established in Entebbe, Uganda, during a K workshop in 2019. And its mission is to halt and reverse the decline of Lake Tanganyika renewable natural resources and ecosystem services through collaboration and research, data synthesis and dissemination, education and outreach in order to support achieving the objectives of the Lake Tanganyika Convention. The Lake Tanganyika Scientific Advisory Group includes 17 members from the 4 riparian countries, Burundi, DR Congo, Tanzania, and Zambia. And its lead is Dr. Ismael Kimirei from Tafiri, Tanzania. The vice lead is Lloyd Hambia from Zambia, and 2 country-specific leads, Dr. Dio Mushagalusa from DR Congo and myself from Burundi. The goals, priorities, and issues of focus are mainly to collect all data on Lake Tanganyika and make it available through created data repository, facilitate cooperation between and amongst researchers and stakeholders through meetings, workshop, and identification of existing research gaps in collaboration with community and prioritize research focus. Identify research laboratories and capacities around the lake. And fifth, identify the area on the lake that should be protected, especially in DR Congo. Advocate for the management strategies with the harmonized and standardized the data collection and statistical analysis tools. And this will be useful for comparison of data for the different countries. And this is a core function of Lake Tanganyika Authority, and it can be harmonized. Mobilizing resources such as funding and boards for the research and management activities, and the documentation for establishment of regional funds. The tasks will be for distribution of funding funds. There is also a need to conduct needs assessment, identify the gaps, and advocate for the exchange capacity building within the region. As for progress, achievement, and impact, since inception, information exchange has been greatly enhanced between the riparian countries through regularized monthly meetings and issue specific talks. There has been held over 26 monthly virtual meetings under AKIA facilitation. There is a cross-basin harmonization of research approaches, ideas, and goals that have greatly improved. An overview manuscript has been drafted for submission to the Journal of Great Lakes Research. Four, there is improved collaboration between basin entities through frequent interaction, familiarization, and potential establishment. Research station inventories have been developed across the basin. Joint collaboration for funding search between basin entities has been improved. More legitimacy has been achieved through outreaches and information exchange with other regional and global institutions. Increased women participation in the advisory group that is co-opted the AKEA African Women in Science Tanganyika Basin members into the advisory groups. There was also an enhancement of networking with the International Association for Great Lake Research, the World Lake Conference, and the Journal of Great Lakes Research. And the main challenges experienced are developing the transboundary collaborative framework that has been a bit slow due to tight schedules of members, the hesitancy by some local and regional bodies to co-opt the process has been experienced, though to a smaller magnitude. There is a lack of sufficient funding to support priority work by the advisory group that has hindered implementations of key goals. The COVID-19 has been a major hindrance for in-person meetings where more activities and plans would be developed. We've not been able to adequately conduct local education and awareness about the advisory group to increase membership, incorporate more relevant institutions, and enhance partnership. Also, there is a lack of funding to improve local research labs capacities, to enhance regular basic monitoring. This has hindered timely decision-making on key issues affecting the basin and its inhabitants. There is a need to harmonize data sharing protocols across the basin. And some of the key lessons learned with proper coordination and communication, cross-basin collaboration and information exchange is possible. AKE has done well in ensuring this for the Lake Tanganyika Advisory Group. Like-minded and dedicated scientists can lead such collaborative long-term processes effectively under reliable leadership and facilitation. It's possible to get conservation work running even virtually when members are committed. This is a COVID-19 panic-related lesson. The decision to ensure wise and sustainable use of our natural resources solely lies in our hands as the local custodians and scientists. Clean, safe, and adequate water is key to human survival, lesson from the COVID-19 pandemic. Lake Tanganyika Basin represents an investment opportunity. It includes cage fish farming, farming on slopes or strips and land between the rift escarpment and the lake, oil and gas development, especially in the southern shores, Ruzizi River basin border of Burundi and DRC, and along the northeastern shore of the lake, and tourism in 4 national parks. It's a unique habitat for biodiversity conservation and evolutionary studies based on the high richness of its biodiversity. It is also internationally famous in the ornamental fish trade as a source of prized aquarium stocks. And we have 3 fish species, Lake Tanganyika sardines, Lake salatus, and Lake Tanganyika spot, that constitute the major commercial fisheries, and commercial and artisanal fisheries yield a big amount of fish per year and employ about 100,000 people in the fisheries, also providing 25 to 40% of protein needs to 1 million people living around the lake. For opportunities and recommendations, first, there is a need to find funding and equipment support for the local research labs and stations. This will enhance regular and basic monitoring of the lake to help make informed decision-making on sustainable management and usage. Second, ecosystem valuation is needed to provide more legitimacy on implementing priority projects and activities with clear outputs, incentives, and sustainability plans. Third, there is a need for development of viable alternative livelihood for local communities to avert deforestation, which is a major threat to the basin. 4, there is a need for implementation and establishment of a regional integrated environmental monitoring program, which will allow an assessment of changes in biodiversity as a function of environmental parameters at Lake Tanganyika. 5th, both ACARE and Lake Tanganyika Advisory Group, in collaboration with riparian countries' established teams, must work together to establish a common baseline of facts and analysis of the problem in the form of a transboundary priorities to address Lake Tanganyika issues. Mapping of local relevant institutions and sensitization to join ACARE Lake Tanganyika Scientific Advisory Group is critical to strengthening functioning of the advisory group. Yeah, here is the question that we submit to the audience for discussion. What approaches would you recommend for increasing resources, acquisition for the advisory group in order to achieve its objective? Do we have any interested supporters here to work with? Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Clever, for that wonderful presentation on the Lake Tanganyika Basin and the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group. You've highlighted a number of key important issues, which I feel freshwater experts definitely know that should be addressed, and to help sustain the lake and its inhabitants and other dependents. So without saying much, I would request any questions, any inputs or comments from the members. Feel free to raise your hands and share. You can also use the chat function to post any question or comment that you might have regarding that presentation. Any concern, comment? Clever has just represented the 17 members of the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group as the country specific for Burundi, and other members of the advisory group are also in this meeting. So anybody who may have some inputs, please feel free to take the floor. So silence means we are okay with that presentation. And I see a comment from Howard. Thanks for an excellent presentation. The needs, capacity and financing needs are great. What should prioritize first? What impact has COVID had beyond impeding meetings and training in person, and how should this be addressed in the near term? Then Winnie has requested, kindly comment on the production of cage farming on Lake Tanganyika. And I see Ken's hand is up. So let's get the question from Ken. Then I would request Clever. I know you're in the meeting. You can also share briefly about those questions. And Ken, please proceed.
No, thanks very much. I see that Howard has actually also asked my question. So thank you, Howard. So what would you prioritize first? Because one of the things here, there's always a need for financing. And the question then is, what is the current state of financing? And subsequently to that, following Howard's comment, where would you prioritize the need in terms of finances?
Thanks, Ken. The questions are directed towards financing, the current financing status and the available resources. I request any member from the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group to respond to that. And address the question also from Winnie on the cage culture. Clever?
Hello?
Yes, Clever, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Zeb, for the for facilitating this meeting and for the great job we are doing. So we have identified several challenges for capacity building and financing. So I think it's the needs for capacity and the financing are great, and which one to prioritize first? So I think it depends on the aspect of capacity building which need to be addressed, or the financing is or the financing. So I think we have we could share some information that we have we have gathered and drafted for publication in a draft paper, where we have identified the needs, the urgent needs, and so it depends on the country, because first we have different needs for different countries, and so for example, some for in terms of capacity, in terms of human identified some, and for financing. So I think I don't have the right information now about it. So we have identified many, and I think which one is should be prioritized. I think it will depend on the if we look at the list and see which one we could help, maybe but more of the experts or the countries to advance the laboratories, also the capacity of human resources to advance the research and collaboration. Yeah, so I think this question should be addressed, or maybe considering all the needs from all the countries. Yeah.
Thank you, Clever. Just to add on what Clever said, to the team, and to Ken, who raised that question, and Howard. We did conduct a survey in late 2020 about priorities for Lake Tanganyika that should be addressed. And in broad, the first three were habitat destruction, fishery health, and pollution in the basin. So under that, through the manuscript, we've been able to specify what needs to be done under each of the themes. And we hope that if we can share with you some of these documents, you'll be able to get a good grasp of the question that you've just raised, and also provide ideas on how we can move forward with the getting some of these done. Thank you. I hope that answered some bit of your questions, Ken.
Is there any
Go ahead, Clever. What were you saying?
it just for the production of cage farming? If there is any colleague from Lake Tanganyika Advisory Group who can help with cage farming.
Any member of the Lake Tanganyika Science Advisory Group would like to address issue of cage farming? So Winnie, probably we might get you in touch with Peter Limbu, who is in charge of the Lake Tanganyika project. And one of the components they're trying to address is issues of fisheries co-management, and looking also into a bit of that aspect you highlighted. So I've just made a note with that, and I'll try to write to Peter and copy you in to see how you can get some of your concerns addressed. Thank you. Then I see other questions here in the chat. Comment from Pierre Denis. It will be interesting during the Lake Tanganyika and other lakes presentation to know what projects presently active. Presentation to know what kind of Latafima, Latawama, for example, what they do and for what period, and thanks. And I think if we could have had, probably if Dr. Firi is in the meeting, you can address the issue of Latafima and Latawama. Then Farida has asked about, what about cage culture farming in Lake Malawi, Nyasa Basin? Any expansion and monitoring effort? I can give a minute for a response for either Lake Tanganyika Science or Lake Nyasa on the two questions. Any input, Max, Geoffrey? So then I think I've noted these questions, and Pierre Denis and Farida will be able to address them through emails, and also bring these questions tomorrow to the breakout session so that we can get some of the answers to them directly. So in the interest of time, let's move to the next presentation.